Trends. Everyone loves a trend. They're brilliant. They're probably the easiest way to get eyes on your business or social media or content creation or whatever. But are they actually that good? And should you ignore some of them? Everyone loves a trend, the views, the likes, the comments, engagement, everything, but do they always work? Do they? Genuinely, the truth is, see if you're seeing a trend, 9 times out of 10 you're too late. The trend's been and gone, genuinely. Like, I know that's hard to comprehend, but if you're seeing it, 9 times out of 10, you're too late. The ship has sailed, the train has left the station, but that isn't always the case. Trends actually can come in many forms now. Obviously, you've got your content trends or you've got your real life world trends. Now, a content trend, massive one that has been recently is the Jon Hamm take off the lights or whatever it's called thing. You know what one I'm talking about. Everyone's doing it because it's so creative that businesses or content creators or just normal funny people can add their wee bit to it, and it works. But you also get like real life trends. And what I'm going to talk about is one that I done a couple of weeks ago. So that's a couple of months ago now, but Scotland qualified for the World Cup for the first time in 27 years. I think it's 28 years by the time the actual World Cup kicks off. Finally, Braveheart has qualified for the World Cup. Now, this is a real life trend. I knew that night, once Scotland had done it, internet, social media was going to be massive with Scotland. Now, people think, especially people in England, they think, it's just another World Cup, like, we all get to them, blah, blah. This is a massive thing for Scotland. They've not been to one since 1998. Now, I wasn't even born then. I've never seen Scotland at World Cup, so it was a massive thing in Scotland, but it was a massive thing around the world because it's the World Cup. It wasn't like Scotland had qualified for Sunday League football or something. Like, it's a World Cup in America. It's massive, and I knew that the world was going to be buzzing about this and talking about this. So the next day, I made a wee funny clip pretending that Andy Robertson had messaged me and I was on my way to America with the Scotland media team. Now, obviously, that's not the case, but that video done very, very well for me. Now, that was me jumping on a real life trend, not your Jon Hamm sort of trend, a real life trend, and that's what you need to be looking out for because they also work. Yes, the content, funny trends are amazing, but real life trends also do work. Now, trends are always going to be good, aren't they? Well, that's where you're wrong because some trends are bad and the way you execute a trend can also be bad. Now, you can get some trends like the Jon Hamm one that works for absolutely everyone and their granny because it just is something that anyone can relate to. Any business can relate to, any content creator can relate to, anything. But there's just some trends that just won't work for your business or your content niche. For example, if you're a horror storytelling TikTok, for example, I seem to have a lot of them popping up my For You page at the minute. I don't know why, it's Christmas. If you're a horror storytelling TikTok, doing the latest dance trend is not going to fit your TikTok. It sounds mental, you can dress up as a vampire and do it, but it's probably not going to work, so you want to avoid some of these. Trends aren't really bad, I guess it's the way you execute them and what trends you feed into, because not all trends will suit what you're going after. Be smart with the trends and your post just in general. See if it doesn't fit, don't post it. It's useless. Now, the thing with trends is they don't always blow up, so don't stress if it didn't work. Now, I done the Jon Hamm one and I can't remember what my caption was, and it got like 500 views compared to these videos that are getting thousands and millions of likes and views and all that. Does that mean mine flopped? Not necessarily, because at the end of the day, as I said, 9 times out of 10, if you're seeing a trend, it's usually been and gone. Now, you're seeing these trends because they are highly engaged videos. Now, this sort of counts with all your posts and videos. You're seeing them because they're highly engaged. They've got a lot of likes, they've got a lot of reposts, shares, comments, stuff like that. But that's good for the 10 that you've seen in your TikTok feed for the last hour. But then think of the 500, the 1,000 that you're not actually seeing. Have they flopped? No, they've just not done as good as these other ones. And as I said, the trend's probably been and gone by the time these people have posted it. I was one of them. I thought I was doing the Jon Hamm one pretty quickly. My missus, I think she went for a shower and I quickly filmed it before she got out. It only took me a minute or two, but I probably jumped on it too late. But again, the time you're seeing trends, it is probably too late. Now, they're not always too late, but don't worry if you only got like 500 or even 1,000 views. It doesn't mean your content was bad or whatever. Just don't worry. The boat's probably just sailed and you've missed it. You want to get in trends very, very early. I wouldn't say there's any specific trends to avoid because trends come out daily, weekly, but it's about being smart. It's about what the trend actually is, who you subscribe to on YouTube, and what content you actually create within that trend. So make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that. Let me know in the comments your favourite trend. As always, my links for my socials are in the description down below. Comment what your favourite trend is, and I shall see you next week.